I want to talk about something um, about being black in America from my perspective and the experiences that I've had in this country. Um, and it may make some people uncomfortable, especially African Americans. And I'm from the old school. I'm going to call them black all day long. African American is too long. And I don't feel like using that word, so I will refer to myself and other African Americans as black. So I apologize ahead of time if the things that I say make you uncomfortable, and it's not my intent. Um, but when I was young, and we moved from the black neighborhood, from the ghetto, they used to call it, into the exclusive white neighborhood, it didn't take long before I started feeling a lot of shame to be black. I didn't want to be black. I wanted to blend into the wall because white people didn't accept me because I was black, and black people didn't accept me because I grew up around whites. So I was pretty much a very lonely child, very lonely. I didn't know how to process any of that. I didn't know how to be with that. So I buried myself in athletics and sports. That was my only outlet. And it I call it the Michael Jackson syndrome, because anybody who has a brain could tell that man was uncomfortable being black. That's why he changed himself so much. But I had the same syndrome for different reasons, entirely different reasons than he did. And thank God, Alcoholics Anonymous got me in touch with who I am so that I could feel a sense of pride to be black. Because up until that point, I had no identity. My identity was my father's child and an athlete. And that was it. So I want to say also that we're probably the only race in America who does not exalt other successful black people. I mean, there's a lot of jealousy, pettiness, just a lot of stuff surrounding black successful people in America. And I mean, I know where it comes from. I understand it. I don't judge it. But it's keeping us back, period. Case in point, I went to a bar in Omaha, and a man recognized me in there, and he was very angry, and he quickly wanted to tell me about my father, and that my father forgot where he came from. Really? Why? He told me that he didn't do any community work in Omaha, which wasn't the truth. My father owned one of the only black banks in Omaha, and people would borrow money and not pay it back, and that bank went under. He's owned 2 restaurants, and neither of them were supported very well either. He also owned the only black radio station that's ever been in that city, and everybody knows that commercials and things of that nature is how radio stations make their money, and blacks did not support that either. So the radio station went under. He also owns other things in that city that I won't mention, but he has not forgot his roots. But as you can see, that's part of the problem in us not giving each other an attaboy, standing on each other's shoulders to rise above the economic conditions that we're in this country. Because if you look around at the other races, that's what they do. That's exactly what they do. to overcome. That pettiness and that jealousy crap is not there. So before I go on, I want to make it very clear that I don't want any white people to jump on this video and agree. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to us. Because, yeah, there's problems. But they stemmed from what happened when we were brought here. And we just haven't been able to get it together because it was so devastating. And we were divided and we were split. And we continue to be divided and split in this country. So I don't want to hear anybody jump on this, oh, yeah. Yeah, y'all got a problem, blah, blah. We know it. I'm just calling us out. I'm calling us out. And if you call us out, your comments will be deleted. At any rate, let me continue on. Malcolm X wrote a book, and I read it during the Rodney King beatings in LA. And I'm not a militant, but I am a reader. And I wanted to see what he had to say. And he talked about black-owned businesses in America, and that's how we would come out of this economic oppression and depression that we're in. But the problem is the way that this country is structured. We pretty much, there's not enough of us with money, with lots of money, in order to own anything big. Malls, skyscrapers, tons of real estate, all the things that white people are able to get to because there are so many multi-billionaires and trillionaires in their culture, but not ours. I don't know how we're going to overcome that because the system is literally built for us not to join the ranks of the rich and famous. They let us in one at a time, here and there, knowing full well that there's no way that we can compete in this marketplace as long as they keep us divided and only let tokens in. Speaking of tokens, I've been a token all of my life. Because I was raised in white neighborhoods, I was a token for them. I had motorcycles, and there was nobody black riding motorcycles back in the 60s and the 70s. And I had a lot of fun with that. But I also was a snow skier, and I was definitely a spectacle on the slopes. People almost crashed, going, whoa, was that a black person on skis? It made me laugh. From the hills that I learned to ski on in Iowa to the mountains in Colorado and Boulder and some other Vail and some other places that I've skied on. I mean, I literally was the only black person skiing on those slopes in red, white, and blue. Imagine that. I also got to go to Switzerland and ski the Alps, which, wow, I thought I was a spectacle in America. I was really a spectacle there. I mean, people were just really bizarre about me in that country. I went into a lodge, and everybody in the place was packed. Everybody in there stopped eating to stare at me. And all of the people that were there with me, that were sponsored by AAA for that group, moved away from me. So I was standing alone with all these people staring at me, and I was like, oh shit, what do I do? So I looked down at my fly to see if it was open. Just being silly, like I always am. I'm a silly person. But anyway, everybody started laughing and went back to what they were doing. Now, imagine if I had taken offense to that and how awful I could have felt because of that, incidences like that. But see, I was used to it those kinds of things had happened to me all of my life. So I also want to say that when I was a software developer, I accidentally got one of my coworkers' paychecks. This dude who would come to me asking me questions was making like $40,000 more a year than I was, just because he was a white man. I knew immediately what was going on with that. He didn't have that much more experience than I did, and I was fuming for like 2-3 weeks. I was like, I didn't want to talk to him. He didn't know I saw his paycheck. But I was devastated. I mean, that was like racism in its highest form, right smack in my face. But again, the, you know, in America, not in America, I think American blacks, African Americans are probably the angriest people on the planet. And you know what? We're justifiably angry. The problem with that is that anger and hatred and emotions like that cloud the brain. They just cloud the brain. You can't think your way out of a paper bag when you're angry. All you want to do is fight and hurt somebody when you're angry. We will not be able to succeed as a race in this country if we stay angry about the circumstances that we have been brought into, about all the crap that's going on constantly in this country, the killings, the brutality, all of that stuff. It's going to go on and on and on anyway. But if we internalize it and let it get to us, we'll never get retribution, because the best retribution is to succeed as a race. And the only way we're going to do that is if we're thinking clearly and not filled with anger. That's how I succeeded in the computer industry. I saw a lot of things, but I chose to just ignore it and keep my eye on the prize, which was to become successful. No matter who said what, who tried to do what, seeing somebody else's paycheck, all that stuff, I had to ignore. I had to put that aside and just keep doing what I was doing to get there. So I guess it really boils down to love again. Self-love. We have every reason to hate ourselves because of what is always going on to us in this country. But it only hurts us. It's not hurting them that we're angry at them. And when we try to get back at them, look what happens. They come after us like stink on shit and want to kill a whole bunch of us compared to their little, the stuff that happens to white people occasionally compared to what happens to us all the time. And we still have to find a way to love, regardless, to love ourselves, to love humanity. And now my life is really getting interesting because I'm a black man instead of a woman. And the more I look like one, the more people look at me differently. And I'm stepping into the ranks of being feared and being an intimidating type person just because I'm a black man. But I also have one of those kind of personalities that people just... I joke a lot with a lot of people, and they get over whatever is going on with them, but I'm still afraid of bumping into the police or getting pulled over and being seen as a male. My driver's license says I'm a male, and what they're going to do with that. But I'm not going to let that stop me from doing my purpose in this world regardless, which is to love mankind, to teach, to lead, and I'm not going to let any of that stuff stop me. No way. And I don't want it to stop you. I don't want it to stop
us. I want us to get it together, get our heads out of our ass. Um, you know, my partners in relationships have problems with my upbringing, with me being brought up successfully. You know, I get made fun of because I don't talk hood enough or whatever. Little slight comments here and there, about the way that I was raised, about the way that I currently talk, about the way I carry myself, about the way I dress. Just the jealousy and the envy and the pettiness has to stop. Who cares where we came from? Isn't it more important where we're going? Are you going anywhere? You got a plan? Um, or are you just going to exist the rest of your life? Let's create a plan, people. I don't know how we're going to do it. I'm just putting it out there in the universe. Because like I said in my other video, the more positive you put out there, the more positive you get back. But this just gives everybody something to think about. And I enjoy talking with you. And I will be talking with you some more. So have a blessed day.